Let me move us to our second topic. Today is the day that's set out as a nationwide economic protest. A grassroots group is asking everyone to make a statement by not shopping at major retailers. It seems this so-called economic blackout started as a protest against corporations who dropped their diversity programming. But it's morphed into protests on high food prices and the federal worker layoffs. And I'm wondering, Chad, can this economic boycott make a difference?
No, it's absurd, and it points to the Democrats' inability to focus. Braden King is a Northwestern University professor, and he's argued that the most successful boycotts are those that generate media coverage, typically to a single high-profile company. Similarly, Cassandra Tomlin is an economist at Oakland University. She's found that firms with a higher level of competition experience larger negative boycott effects. So in short, focus on Tesla. The reality is that the median voter, they actually want firms to pull back from the DEI diversity stuff that you're talking about. But the median voter does not want an unelected oligarch to have the power to fire half of the federal workforce, which is basically what Elon Musk has threatened to do this week. So, you know, Tesla should be the focus of Democrats' ire right now. Focus on that boycott. This whole all retail thing it's just...
See, I mean, I don't think it's either or, and I just want to do a little bit of correction here. It's not it's the NGO or the outfit that's doing it has explicitly said on their website they're neither Democrat nor Republican. They have Democrat, Republican, and independents in there.
Sure.
And I agree with that because, you know, if you talk around, you would see that many Democrat and Republican voters actually agree on a lot of this corporate greed, these insane levels of threatening by Amazon and other companies to, you know, against unions, you know, for example, Walmart, where many people having full-time jobs, they're still having to depend on, you know, supplemental nutrition. This should not be the normal, and we should, of course, do something about it. Now, whether boycott works or not, you can ask the British Empire, right, and Gandhi, whether that worked. We got down the British Empire and South Africa, and Israel is always worried about boycotts hitting them. So when you say boycotts don't work, I don't see the evidence, but I do agree that in this case, in a small, limited way, it might not achieve the effect they want to. Well, but it is free speech. If I don't want to buy your stuff, I don't want to buy your stuff. That's okay.
So what's interesting to me about boycotts is that they don't typically have much economic impact. They really don't. But the public, especially younger members of the public, do recognize that their purchasing power has a political aspect to it. And so I think at this moment where people are feeling that things are out of control, they're not sure how to respond, this is one way, it's a small way that they can have some way to voice their displeasure through this act of economic protest.
One of the things that I find interesting about this boycott, you know, I think it could have had an effect, but I agree with Chad, it's way too broad. Okay, and it's interesting in how the boycott information was derived, because depending on how you heard about it, that also directed what you're boycotting about. Mm-hmm. So for example, I heard a minister last Sunday say we're boycotting Target's, very specifically Target, because Target made, I believe it was $1.5 billion commitment to increase diversity, equity, inclusion, et cetera, and Target pulled back on that. So we are boycotting Target. That's something that focuses people's attention, as you state, on one goal. It's something that's relatively easy to do, and it can show an immediate impact. Because one of the things about boycotts is if you don't have immediate success, they don't tend to be successful. So I think this can work, but it needs much more grassroots organization and much more focus.
A boycott can, I mean, it can call attention to an issue, but what is this calling attention to? It's that like, oh, here's the left who's identifying this nebulous thing called corporations as some sort of inherently evil kind of thing.
Corporations are not nebulous, though.
But it's a boogeyman. It's a boogeyman to the left, the same way that like...
It's a boogeyman to many right.
No, it is not.
You can look at Republicans who talk about corporate greed all the time.
Greed is a thing. But here's the
It is a
thing,
thing.
like it's calling attention to just this nothingness, like and
See,
to
the
your
DEI
point, to
stuff
your
I
point earlier,
understand,
where
yeah.
you said like it's not an either or
No,
thing.
it's not either or.
It is. There's an opportunity cost associated with any action. If you're devoting yourself to this, it's taking time away from other things that can be more productive.
Yeah, that's
like
the economic
targeting,
speak. I get it,
targeting
but yeah.
the actual.
Sure.
Corporations overall are not the problem. Elon Musk is a real problem. If you spent your resources, you spent your energy on that, you'd be more credible, you'd be more successful.
But I think, again, people feel very frustrated that the companies that they put their hard-earned dollars to have walked back on values that they hold. So going back to the Target example, I think that's a terrific example
That's
of
the DEI
the
thing,
walk
right?
back. Yeah. And I think, again, this is a way for people to say, okay, fine, companies, you're going to walk this back, then we're not going to continue to give our dollars to you.
And that's why I go back to DEI, the median voter actually wanted to pull back. And in this specific case, all you're going to do is shift when the consumption happens. We're boycotting today, but tomorrow we'll return. And that's not effective either.
Well, this group wants to have more boycotts, so we will see